Hi everybody, it's Judy, your energy chef, helping you make delicious recipes that not only taste great, but are healthy for you to do. So today, we're going to kind of go off the grid a little bit. Normally we make healthy salads and really good lean main dishes, but you know, there has to be comfort food, right? And I believe that comfort food can be good for you. So that's what we're going to do today, is we are going to make our chocolate indulgence muffins. And they not only taste absolutely scrumptious, but they are healthy too. And I'm going to actually tell you why as we go through the recipe. So we're going to start first with all of our ingredients. And there is a secret ingredient here, which I have not yet told anyone about. So we are going to do that in just a minute. We're going to reveal the secret ingredient. But before we do, we want to actually get started with melting one of our ingredients. So first of all, we have chocolate chips. Now you're going to say, oh, but chocolate chips, you know, those aren't really healthy for you. Well, these chocolate chips are actually vegan and sugar-free, so they're not going to add a lot of calories, but they are going to taste absolutely scrumptious. Then we want to add 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now, extra virgin olive oil, another great unsaturated fat. It's good for your brain, it's good for your gut, and it's going to help your bowels actually move very well. So we want to do 5 tablespoons of that. And I'm just going to go here and put this on the stove for a little bit. Excuse me for leaving the camera because I need a widescreen camera, I think. So we are going to go ahead and heat that just a little bit. Today we are going to use a very simple blending device. This is my blender. I use it a lot. It's very simple to use. It's a one-pot cooking, and you're going to see everything goes together and it's real easy. So before we do that, I want to welcome everyone that's here. I see that you're here, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. I know you have a daughter that has a bakery, so share this recipe with her. Actually, I don't know if she'd like it because there's no wheat in my recipe. But let's next talk about our secret ingredient as I go ahead and pack my eggs right into my blender. I like to put all of my ingredients in order and make it easier to blend. So my 3 eggs go into my blender, and next we have our secret ingredient. So see, it says secret ingredient. Now I really love this ingredient because it is so good for you. And if you can recognize what this is, I shouldn't have worn red today because these are beets. And I don't know how good you can see them. Let me put them up to the camera. These are sliced beets. So we're going to go ahead and put our sliced beets into the blender. Now the beets actually are full of nitric oxide, and if you know me and know how much I like nitric oxide therapy and how it's helped many thousands of people with lots of health issues, then you know that beets are very near and dear to my heart because they actually contain that ingredient. So we're going to go ahead and blend that up, and it's going to get really noisy here. So excuse me, just talk among yourselves here as I can get the lid on. It's going to get really noisy here for a minute as I blend these up, and we want to continue blending them until they're emulsified. It's really noisy. Now, interesting is that these are one of my husband's favorites. He loves his chocolate muffins, and we used to buy them from the store, and they're full of unhealthy fats and sugar, and so now we've substituted this. So I get to make this recipe an awful lot. Let me just stir here. I wish that I had a wide view camera so you could see that, but see, isn't that a pretty color? And that is all the wet ingredients that we have. Next, we want to just add our dry ingredients, except for our melted chips and oil. We want to add that, and then our dry ingredients. And I don't know if you can see these, but they're very, very few and very, very simple. So my chips and oil is all blended, and let me just put this in here. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm just pouring them into the pan. They don't have to be completely blended. Chocolate tends to burn. It's happened to me an awful lot. So we don't want our chocolate to burn, so just lightly soften those chips up. And I am going to go ahead and stir that up before we continue here real quickly. Just real quickly. When you're not talking, you can actually make this in about 10 minutes. So besides these wet ingredients, we want to add our dry ingredients. So we have 3 eggs, and we have a can of beets. And what I forgot to tell you about the beets, make sure you read the labels. So what I found as I was looking for beets, I turned the label back just to see what was in it. And one of the beets at one of the stores that I went to actually had added sugar and added salt and some other ingredients that I could not pronounce. So when you're looking to purchase things at the store, go ahead and look at the ingredients, look at the sugar content. You know, we only want to eat about 18 grams of sugar a day. Beets already have sugar in them, about 1 gram a serving if you're eating raw beets. But make sure that the things that you buy don't have a lot of sugar. So now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. We also want to add 1 cup of almond flour. And of course, almond flour, 1 serving of almond flour in this recipe will give you about 12% of your daily protein. And so unlike wheat flours and rice flours, this is actually nutritious for you. And I love to have some type of nuts every day. Now we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of sweetener. Now I am using a powdered sweetener called stevia. I love stevia. I actually grow it, but I'm not using that stevia today in my recipe, but it is an organic stevia. The last thing we add is actually guar gum. And the guar gum, this is about a teaspoonful of guar gum. And the guar gum is actually just what it sounds like. It's a gum. It helps emulsify and put everything together so it doesn't fall apart. Because remember, wheat has gluten. Gluten is stretchy. It's like gluey. And almonds aren't like that. So we have to add something else. Now I'm using guar gum today. I've also substituted tapioca starch and xanthan gum, whatever you have in your pantry. And you can get all this stuff from just about any grocery store around now. It used to be hard to find, but it's usually in your organic aisle. Why, I don't know. So that's all the dry ingredients. We are actually going to blend it up. So in just a moment here, it's going to get really loud again. So please excuse me while we blend it. Really noisy. And I just want to make sure that everything is mixed well, because you really don't want to have pieces of chunks of beets and stuff in your muffins. So let me just move this over here, put this on the table. Now all we're going to do now is actually put it in the muffin tins. Now what we're using today is the giant muffins that they're oversized. They're not like cupcakes, they're giant muffin tins, and I like to use that because it's really a good serving. So giant muffin tin, and you just want to put your muffin cups in your muffin tin. Now normally this makes about 4 giant muffins. Sometimes if I don't fill it really well, it'll make more. It never makes less though. Now this isn't like a wheat flour that is going to really rise. We do have a little bit of baking powder in here, but that just helps it rise just a little bit. So I like to fill my muffins up, you know, almost to the top. So, so we'll just finish up this here. And what you're going to do now is you can stick it in your oven, 350 degrees, for about 40 minutes, because remember they are big, not like a cupcake. A cupcake you would do about 30 minutes. I've also made this into a cake, a birthday cake actually, and this will make 1 layer of a birthday cake, this recipe, and then you would cook it for about 50 minutes. But next, what you want to do to finish it off, and I usually do this after it has cooked, but you can take some of your vegan chips, and just so it looks pretty, just put some chips, 4, 5, 6 chips on the muffins. And then it's kind of an extra little treat for you. So this is what it looks like finished. And let me stick this over here by the stove because we're going to cook those, because we only have 1 muffin left. But I wanted to show you what it looks like when it's finished. So this is a finished muffin. It is absolutely scrumptious, and I am going to cut it up so you can see what it looks like when it's done. So I'm cutting it in half, and here is the finished muffin. Isn't that absolutely awesome? So that is my chocolate indulgence muffins with that secret ingredient. Don't tell everyone, especially those people that don't like vegetables, because there's beets in here, guys, and almonds, and nobody will believe you. So thank you so much for watching today. Please tag me if you have any questions or comments. If you like it, go ahead and hit like so I know, but tag my name, Judy Feldhausen, on Facebook if you want me to respond to your questions. So everybody have a wonderful day. Enjoy your muffins. Have some comfort food. Enjoy what you eat and love your life. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.